There's RPM, so there's my capacity, and that's doing milliamps consumed, and it tells me if the battery's full or not, and you can zero it out and all that kind of good stuff. So,
okay. Now the actual, you might have said it, but the actual FBL you have on there now?
It's the Nexus.
Is the Nexus.
Yeah,
okay.
I have a Fly Dragon on something else, on a 380 Buddy, and it works really good. Hi, I'm Steve O'Connor. This is a Soxos 7.1 Lite. It weighs about 9.1 pounds. It's running on 6S. This is the combo kit, so it comes with the motor, the servos, and all that kind of stuff. I am running Rotorflight, and I'm entered in the Soxos Cup, as well as the Nats here. Having a good time. It's my first time using Rotorflight. It is so far working great for me. I've got about 16 flights on it. About 3 of those flights are tuning. Honestly, with some of the stuff they've come out with, the tuning has actually been fairly easy. I feel like the helicopter's fairly dialed in. I'm still working on some tweaks, but it's doing pretty good. So the telemetry works great. The adjustment, the Lua apps to go in and you can adjust stuff. So for example, you come right in here and I can go right in and do some settings. It's not quite the V-bar, but it, let's see if I can turn that up. It's not quite V-bar, but you can see all the different things I can go in and adjust. So this is how I go in and adjust rates and everything else and set everything. So there's quite a bit of stuff to adjust in there. You still have to use a computer for some things, but the majority of the stuff is available.
There we go. Oh, we got it now.
Okay. And then, like I said, I'm showing, oh, sorry, I can go back in there.
I liked your startup screen too.
Yep. Windows 98.
Now, is this the, which gimbals are in this one?
These are the AGO ones.
Okay.
No complaints. Nice. They're dialing in fine, no red screens or anything. So, yeah. And then I got my telemetry screens. I don't know if I got both of them set up or not. So you can go in and do timers and all that kind of stuff, temp, current. I think that's it. Yeah.
Wow. Will that show you, like, are you doing like MAH consumed?
Yeah, so on this,
nice.
let me go back one.
Okay.
There's current, there's RPM, so there's my capacity, and that's doing milliamps consumed, and it tells me if the battery's full or not, and you can zero it out and all that kind of good stuff. So.
Okay. Now the actual, you might have said it, but the actual FBL you have on there now?
It's the Nexus.
Is the Nexus.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a Fly Dragon on something else, on a 380 Buddy, and it works really good. It's a separate receiver, which is nice because you could pretty well, I'm pretty sure it'll support pretty much everything. You don't really have to be limited to just a Radiomaster. So if you want to try the Nexus out, and they're like $90. Okay. So it's a pretty phenomenal deal. Super clean setup on this, for example. It's just a single wire. Comes the receiver, the $20 receiver comes with a wire. It just plugs right in. And I've done range tests, and I'm a big air guy, so I get fairly far away, and it works well.
Nice.
I had to remap one of the channels to get the RPM out, so there's some stuff with that. But like I said, it's kind of, I wouldn't say infancy, but it's definitely in its toddler stage, and there are lots of people working to improve it.
Nice. Okay, so then let's just talk real quick about the actual helicopter itself, in so much as this is the regular Soxos.
This is the Lite, so the regular one is more of a 12S bird. This one's kind of limited to 1900 head speed, so it's more of a 600 style head, but it is bigger blade grips and everything else. So I think the swash is unique. The main gear has an internal is unique to it. The one-way bearing is unique to it. Everything about it's light. So mine actually is a heavy 7.1. I'm at 9 pounds 1 ounce, whereas Cliff Hyatt, who's running, he's at 8 pounds and 3/4. And I want to say one guy was at 8 pounds 4 ounces, and I'm like, holy cow, he's running a real small pack. So this is a 6,000 milliamp pack to really gives me plenty of flight time. It's not really a weight penalty to me. I need it anyway. This is a freshly crashed version. You can see by the grass I still have in the skid there.
Oh yeah.
So I plowed this thing in the other day. Everybody's worried about the aluminum frames bending, and I mean I walloped this thing in here, and I had to steal some parts from a different 7.1 because this setup is very specific to the maneuvers I'm doing for Nats and for Soxos Cup. So,
but this is like, I've heard there's a lot of benefits because this has that frame where it's like a cage.
yes.
So all your bearing blocks are in a direct line.
Yep.
And so to make sure you have a nice smooth setup.
Yeah. Yeah, everything works good. The main shaft drops in. It's not like when you got the two carbon frames and you got to bolt them together and you got to do the whole finagle and slide the main shaft in and out and get everything all square. This is just square, so it works really well.
Okay. And which hobby wing? That looks like a...
It's a 150.
Like a 150. Okay.
Yep.
Pretty
It's a
sweet.
4125. I haven't really looked at my current, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But it's not really current hungry, and I can turn around. I actually did. I still bounced it around. I have a 3D setup for this, even though you're not supposed to for what I'm doing. And it the 4125 pulls, especially on 6S.
Okay. And this is the combo kit you were saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that came with the servos, the motor, and the hobby wing too?
And the hobby wing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot.
So, and I did turn the timing down. So hobby wing comes stock at 25. I have it set at 5 degrees per first RC. And really good temps on the motor, really good temps on the hobby wing, and plenty of power. I find the default settings sometimes to be a little on the aggressive side, but I'm not a Smack 3D guy. So a lot of people comment on this tail rotor too, being really unique because it's the torque tube tail rotor, right? So it rotates, and that's how it actuates. And honestly, we were playing with it last night when I was resetting the helicopter up, and it's interesting how it recenters, and while you're spooling it up, you can really feel the weight of the tail rotor as it's spooling.
Wow. Now these blades are pretty, they have kind of like a unique taper here at the end. These are these
the piece, so the first RC 700 piece, and then there's a 700A. So the weight on these tends to be a little bit heavier and a little bit further out. The A's tend to be a little further in. They are more aggressive without being overly aggressive. So I really like them. They auto fantastic. They're very efficient. On my 8S setup, I can get 10 minutes out of it flying around at 1400 head speed. This guy here, when I'm doing my 6-minute flights for gnats, I'm still at 40-ish% on the battery.
Okay.
So that's at 1500 head speed on 6S. Again, temps, everything else is good. You can definitely feel these are more stable. I mean, blades, these are definitely a set of blades that if you slapped on, you'd tell a difference.
Okay. Now, when you're competing, and you have an F3C setup here, what head speeds are you using?
I'm at 1380 and 1550.
Okay.
So,
wow.
And then on my 8S bird, which is more of a 3D style, I have a high of 1700, but honestly, that only weighs 9.5 pounds. You don't really need it at that head speed, not even to smack it around. So this one here, even at the 1550, it's still great. And that's what I'm doing all the 3D maneuvers. I'm doing Sportsman, which is more of a basic class. So your rolls, loops, ovals, there's a candle in there. Plenty of power, plenty of head speed, tracks well.
Oh, pretty sweet. Yeah, it looked pretty good in the air. No doubt about it.
Yeah. And, you know, they're packaged really well it looks like they're built by a well-known vendor that makes blades. So, so far, and I actually crashed a set of these yesterday. Luckily, JC Zenkel had a spare set, let me borrow them. But when they smashed into the ground, you know, full weights, full line down the blade, they didn't detach or anything like that, and I walloped it in pretty good.
Nice. All right, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
This was a lot of cool information, and people are probably wondering why we're this funky setup behind the bathrooms. But
A little bit windy today.
Yeah, trying to get rid of some wind noise.
A little bit noisy under the tent.
I really appreciate you taking the time to go through all
Thank
this
you.
with me.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I like all your videos. Thank you.
Thank you.